Well, it's been a few weeks since Strongholds and Followers has come out. I think it's time that we take a second look. So, here's Strongholds and Followers, Part 2.
Welcome everyone to Home Brew Crew. I'm Sean, this is Tony, and we're going to be diving back into Matt Colville's Strongholds and Followers PDF. And today we're going to actually be looking at the first half of the title, the Strongholds themselves.
Piece by piece.
Yeah,
it's like how you eat an elephant.
Yeah, yeah. And to be completely honest, I think when you pick this up yourself, it's probably the best way to kind of dive into the document itself. You don't really want to try and encompass everything in one go. You really want to kind of break everything down piece by piece because there's a lot of good stuff in here.
It's very, very detailed, and it's phenomenal, but it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
it's like going to the buffet, and there's so many things. Oh, I want some of this. Oh, I want some of that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, but Strongholds is a main section in this. I mean, hell, it's in the title.
Yeah, so, exactly. When you first jump into it, basically it's kind of breaks down the different kind of strongholds that you can get, which is going to be the keep, the tower, the temple, and the establishment. And each one is kind of personalized and specific for the classes that you're going to be picking and you're going to be playing.
Yeah, and people will come, your followers will come to those locations. There's toughness, there's armor class with it. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. You can upgrade them. But, I mean, it's a very important thing. I mean, we've done this in our campaigns as well, where we make a central location for your players to kind of work out of. And that's the general idea behind the Strongholds.
And it's funny because every time that we've done your campaign or my campaign, I feel like we've never had a really structured way of determining, how much does this cost? When can they upgrade this? How many people can this fit? What can it take a cannon blast, And, and the nice thing about this is that it gives you all the tools that you need, whether it's down to how you start one up, how you upgrade it, how many people can fit. Everything is basically here for you. And there's even examples and drawings showing you different types of towers or keeps that you can have, different types of floors and different types of things inside.
Right. So you can correctly judge how big something should be, how many people are in it, how many followers are showing up at the door. The thing I love the most about it, though, honestly, and I know we're going pretty quickly through it, but I love the fact that you can flavor each of these keeps or each of these towers to be something for that specific class.
Yeah.
Like me as a, sorcerer, I'm not going to go and get a keep.
Probably not.
I don't want a keep.
Probably not, no.
No. I mean, all those guys in armor marching around, not a fan. But they do like sanctums, for example. So the Sorcerer Sanctum is a version of the Wizard's Tower that has some pretty neat effects. So speaking of effects, the keep that you have actually has an effect on the land that's nearby.
Exactly. So depending on what kind of fortress or stronghold that you have, so for example, when you're looking at the Sorcerer's one, it has a domain effect on the land. So it lists a couple things. Curses, blessings, and oaths pronounced within the Sorcerer's domain have a 15% chance of causing the speaker to roll on the wild magic table. And for those who don't know what the wild magic table is, it's basically one of the best things in this game.
Oh, it makes it fun for the DM.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
The idea that one of your players, by you rolling on this thing, can turn into a potted palm. It's
exactly.
There's things like that are really kind of neat. But it goes great, and it's themed very well towards the sorcerer with this Sorcerer Sanctum.
Yeah, and there's two other things that you get there as well. So people that live in the domain for a season can learn one random sorcerer cantrip. They lose the ability to cast if they ever leave. And then finally, raindrops in the Sorcerer's Domain cast dazzling, sparkling, prismatic reflections during the day. So besides having a mechanical thing,
it's gorgeous. Glistening. I love it.
It gives you tools to kind of flavor, again, for your campaign, the land surrounding and everything like that. So you get tools to kind of give more aesthetic things during your campaign.
And that's just the effect that it has on the land. You've also got stronghold actions that you can do. And each of these, again, we're focusing right now on the Sorcerer Sanctum, but each of these are different and specific to the keep, through the establishment, all of those things.
Yeah, and then they're flavored for the class. So, for example, for the Sorcerer one, you can cast 3 spells from your list of prepared spells using spell slots as normal. For the next minute, all of your spells are heightened as per the heightened spell, so and you can't use any sorcery points to heighten if you've already gotten this. And then you're also wreathed by a fire shield. Enemies who strike the shield take 4d8 damage instead of 2d8. And again, so these will kind of change depending on the kind of keep that you have, but it gives you kind of these little tools that you can use to kind of, when you're attacking or defending your keep against any enemy forces.
And you can't use it again until you do a short rest. They're limited with it. There are extended rests that you take at each of these that allow you to get some of these abilities and these things back, which is neat, because it's kind of this idea where you've got this one place that you sleep, you spend a good amount of time there, and then you go out and you adventure. You want to be able to take something from that location out to adventure with you.
Yeah.
But you have to, in order to regain that power, you have to be at that keep for a certain period of time.
Right, exactly.
It's always nice to go home, isn't it, Sean?
Yeah, and I was going to say, it's nice because there's a lot of campaigns, or sometimes they'll be running something where, you're going from one adventure to the next, and you're always constantly on the move. Having a place where the party can return and something that's familiar, it's kind of nice. It gives them incentive to return back. It gives them incentive to use it, to upgrade it, and to have people come into it or things like that. And I think it's a nice feature to have in any campaign, especially if it's a long-term kind of thing that you're running. Oh, sure. Having a base of operations is actually really, really nice.
And we've run that in both of ours.
Exactly.
We've run that. And it's kind of neat because you get a class feature improvement as well for each one. So like the sorcerer gets one, and everybody else gets one with it. Do you want to read that one?
So while you have unspent sorcery points, if you roll the maximum result on a spell's damage, including the reroll die, you can re-roll it and add the new roll to the original roll. You can do this for a number of spells equal to your stronghold level, after which you must take an extended rest to refresh his ability. So basically, you can kind of double up on the die that you're using for that spell, which is really cool.
Right, and very themed for that sorcerer. I know I would love that with mine. I'm glad we're reviewing the sorcerer because it's giving me ideas.
It's very useful.
I'm getting ideas.
And then besides class feature improvements, they also give you a list of different followers that you can actually get for your stronghold. And again, these are going to be different. So, for example...
They're different for the sorcerers. So, these are ones that would show up for a powerful sorcerer somewhere.
Yeah, so example, you're not going to get a bunch of knights and warriors or thieves, but for the sorcerer one, looking off that list, some examples are elemental acolytes or scribes, alchemists, skinwalkers, reavers. So these are more flavored for the stronghold that you're running. And
you can combine strongholds with some of your party members as well. You can build what's called a castle, which combines 2 or more of those different things. So, it's not common for a wizard not to want to be alone on the side of a cliff somewhere. Yeah, exactly. But if he ever does want to be with the rest of the party, they can build him a tower next to the keep.
Yeah, exactly. And these followers are going to behave differently. They're going to have different features depending on what kind of stronghold that you have. And again, I think it's great just because depending on the type of stronghold that you have, you can flavor it and make it so different. So like even 2 players who might have a sorcerer stronghold might not use it or have it act the same way.
Yeah, and it's just very this is the thing I love about Matt's creation in this. It's so set for the DMs in mind. I'm sorry, I said this in our last video on this, but it's the same thing. It's not set up just for the players with it. The DMs get to do a lot of fun things with this, and set up where it doesn't break your game, which is the thing that I love the most, is that it doesn't take something that you have and just throw some other mechanic into it. I can't wait till we actually start streaming and all that stuff, and we can throw one of these into our campaigns. So we can show people how they work.
I'd love to. And it goes really well in hand with the follower section, because the followers have certain things that they can do at or with the actual stronghold itself. And again, we didn't want to really dive into all the strongholds here because we want to give you guys a chance to discover it yourselves. And again, you can go ahead and follow the link down below. You can go ahead and pick up a copy of this as well.
It's only $20 for the PDF. Of course, the hardcover version, I'm sure, is on its way. Yeah. I'm totally going to get one of those too. It belongs on that shelf back there. So.
I was going to mention the artwork in here is fantastic.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And it goes so well.
That one creature with the teeth, that set me back a little bit. But other than that, it's pretty awesome.
And you also also get artwork for each individual stronghold, so you get an idea of what they look like. You can use this for inspiration. With anything that you take from D&D, you don't have to necessarily take this with every single step. You can flavor it yourself. You can kind of borrow concepts from this and use it on your own. But to be completely honest, again, like we said with the whole followers thing, it's so set up already. There's not really a lot of need to actually modify or change a lot here.
Exactly. It's just very simple for you to put in if you want to put in even just a part of it. It's really set up like that.
Exactly.
In fact, there's all these war rules at the end of it that we haven't gotten into yet.
That'll be one of our next upcoming videos when we're ready to dive back into the wonderful world of Strongholds and followers.
Then there's the whole campaign and
there's
monsters.
There's an adventure in here.
And this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
Either way, if you want to pick it up again, the link is down below to go over to MCDM Productions. Is right. Whew, I always get that wrong. But definitely check it out, and I'm sure you can fit this into one of your homebrew campaigns as well. Remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed. So until next time, keep brewing.